when you got the gig with Roger Waters, and I read your name in Rolling Stone and called you and said, what happened here? And you told me an amazing story about how you were you weren't happy with your career. 23 years into it, and you're like, man, I need a break. And I think Victoria had gone to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And you know where I'm going with this?
Exactly where you're going with this.
It's an incredible story about, for me, perseverance.
Yeah.
Because you were at a crossroads. You almost quit. I don't know if you almost quit, but you were down. Come on, man, throw me a bone here.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Can you just recall that moment of how you felt?
Absolutely.
And then, because a week later, he gets the call to do this life
3 days later.
3 days later. Just retell that little part of the story, how you felt, and maybe the story of perseverance.
Yeah, perseverance is everything. I tell everybody I meet on the road, never, ever, ever give up. Never give up. Never give up. Because so many people do. When they don't know where their next, right around the corner, could be their next big break. So here's what happened. It was around 2008. We had that whole, the economy kind of was tanking.
Yep.
Victoria was working at Warner Brothers. She got laid off. I was doing corporate gigs. Those kind of dried up. Nothing was happening. No session work. Behind on the mortgage, behind on all the bills, upside down. And I was like, oh boy. And I made a promise to myself years ago that once I went into be a full-time singer, I said, no matter what, I'm never going to go back and do another day job, because I did it all my life. I worked so many, I could tell you that's a story, how many different jobs I worked while being in bands and rehearsing. So during that time, like I said, she was laid off and all the work had dried up. And I came to Victoria one night. I said, I don't know what to do. I said, I think, I made my promise to never do another day job, right? So I think I'm going to have to go get another day job to get caught up to bills. I said, I don't know what to do. And she ended up getting into a heated argument that night. I said, maybe you should go get some part-time work, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I don't know what to do on the week. It was frustration mostly. So
everyone can relate to that.
So now everybody can relate to it, right? So I was just like, hurting inside. And she went to bed and I was standing and I'm up at night. I'm just, man, what am I going to do? And you got to always keep the faith. So I went into our guest bedroom. I got on my knees and I prayed like I've never prayed before. I got on my knees and I prayed to the Lord. I said, if there's, and I was super specific. This is very key.
Right.
I mean, we can pray for things. I want to get a gig. But I was very specific about my prayer. I got on my knees and it was like a 20-minute prayer. I was just pouring my heart out. I've been through some stuff in my life. I'm like, Lord, you brought me through cancer. You brought me through my mother's death. You brought me through all these things in my life. I said, I need you now. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. But I said, if I could just be get that lead singer spot in some band that really needs a lead singer, like maybe, I remember going to myself, maybe I'm not the crew, maybe Vince Neil doesn't want, something like that. I could jump in and be the next singer for that band or whatever, not having any idea. I said, even background singing, but
get into an existing situation.
Right, an existing situation.
Just move right into it.
Yeah, and I said, that would be great. I said, just for a few months so I can get caught up, man. That's it. And then I could get back and just once we're caught up, we'll be cool and maybe get out of the debt a little bit, you know. And then that night I was, it was very heartfelt, and just said, and I kept going, something's got to give, Lord, something's got to give. And then I didn't realize this till after the fact, but it was literally 3 days later. I was in here recording, working on somebody else's session. I got a call from John Joyce, and he's the one who told me.
John Joyce, who you had known for a decade.
Yes.
Right, he was your vocal contractor, I believe.
Yeah.
And he goes, Roger Waters is looking for a singer.
That's right.
I think you'd be great. I think I'm going to get you an audition. And you go, how do you know Roger Waters? He goes,
yeah, it was a trip.
And he goes, I sang on the wall. Then you
then I was
like, I've known you for a decade. You never
told me that. Yeah.
So
it was crazy.
I just think, and I share your story a lot because it makes me look cool that I know you. But it is that part of the story of, I think I got to get another job and I think I got to do this. And you never know, literally 3 days around the corner.
That's what I'm
where
saying,
that
right?
opportunity is. Even if you're just doing this for fun, even if
Right.
you're just,
Right.
you just never know. It doesn't have to be Roger Waters from Pink Floyd, you're going to tour the world. But whatever it is that you're seeking, if you persevere, if you have faith in whatever it is, whether it's religious, spiritual, or just within yourself, to just go, you know what? I love this. I'm going to keep making it work. And that's going to take me where it's going to take me. And then, of course, when you got the opportunity, you had all those years of experience. Bam. You were a 20-year overnight sensation.
Right. And doing all those shows up until that point, over all those years, led me to that point. I look at it as like boot camp for me, because going through all these different gigs and different styles of music and blah, 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 and being able to mimic and copy and try to do sound alikes and stuff like that, over all that time, it was like a boot camp that prepared me for this. So when the opportunity came, it wasn't like, oh crap. I was like, man, I'm ready for this. I've been waiting my whole life for this. And the other thing is, like, what if I would have quit and said, all right, I'm done with the music business. I'm done. I'm going to go get a job now and get a real job, blah, blah, blah. 3 days later, it was right there around the corner. I could have stopped, and a lot of people do. They'll quit and go, this is not working out.
Yeah.
It's usually based on fear or whatever, because sometimes, people are, how are we going to make money or whatever. So